Today I'll be breaking down the different ways you can buy a home as you go about searching for and eventually purchasing your first house. Whether it be through auction, negotiation, or tender, the list goes on, I'll be explaining the key differences of each of the ways to ensure you have the important differences down pat. Because at Squirrel, we're here to make the whole buying process as smooth as possible for you, the buyer. So let's jump in. There are many different ways to buy property in New Zealand. Auctions are pretty common, but it's important to still have an idea of all the possible ways you could secure your first home, just in case. You might know a little bit about auction already, but I'll cover the important parts now to ensure you've got it sorted. An auction is where you get into a room and yell about buying a house. If you win, it's considered an unconditional purchase, so you need to do all your due diligence work beforehand. The real estate agent will have given you a copy of the sale and purchase agreement, title, and maybe the limb report. You may also need to do a building inspection and valuation. You'll also need to register your interest in the auction before the day and be able to front up with 10% deposit if you win. There is a full auction checklist available in our First Home Buyer's Guide on the Squirrel website. Next is negotiation. This is when properties are advertised with a price band, or by negotiation. You make an offer on the property and negotiate with the seller on the price. Also, there is a tender. A tender is like dating. You put in writing an offer with a specified time frame and the vendor considers your offer alongside others. You can put conditions on the offer, but this might make it less appealing than others. Then there's private treaty. A private treaty is buying by negotiation and lets you put conditions into the sale and purchase agreement. And lastly is private sale. Private sales are the same as private treaty, but are worth covering separately because you'll be negotiating directly with the vendor. Because no one will be managing the process and spotting the issues early, there's more chance that something will go wrong. If you buy privately, you may need a registered valuation and should have your solicitor check the agreement before you sign. The alternative is to insert a solicitor's clause, which is like a get-out-of-jail-free card. If the solicitor is not happy, you have 3 days to get out of the agreement. But regardless of how you buy, once you find a place, you'll need to sign a sale and purchase agreement. This is basically just a template where you can insert your own purchase conditions. These conditions might include subject to finance, generally 5 to 10 working days, subject to building inspection, subject to limb report, subject to solicitor's approval. Another popular condition is a due diligence clause that gives you full control on the purchase process. Remember though, this is a legal contract and the point of no return. Once you go unconditional, you're committed to purchasing the property. Well, that's a quick rundown of all the possible ways to purchase property in New Zealand. As you come to purchasing your first home, you might find yourself buying through auction, but you could just encounter tender, private treaty, or private sale too. Whichever it might be, you are prepared now for any scenario. If you need to refer back to this video or any other in our First Home Buying series, you're free to rewatch any of our videos as you need. We made them to make it easier for you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back soon.